40 years ago, we opened our doors with one mission in mind.
We'll be right back with the top 10 songs of 1983.
To sell quality American-made vehicles at a fair price.
It is 12:59. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The first
And
domino
we've loved
in the
every
carousel
minute
has
of the
fallen.
ride.
Free agent quarterback Derrick Henry
Celebrating
reportedly will
40
sign
years
with
of Two Rivers
the New Orleans
Ford.
Saints for a big number. 4 years, $150 million for the former Las Vegas Raiders franchise quarterback, $100 million in total guarantees for Derek Carr. Meanwhile, Titans defensive tackle Jeffery Simmons created some buzz over the weekend when he first deleted the Titans off his social media accounts and then deleted his Twitter and Instagram accounts in total. ESPN's Dan Graziano reported this week that the Titans and Simmons have had discussions about a long-term deal. Also, a report from Mike Silver of Bally Sports stated this week that the Titans are actively shopping running back Derrick Henry. Titans cut Bud Dupree earlier today. The outside linebacker will save the team over $9 million in cap savings. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Boys, nothing to talk about today. This is one of those days. You and I have had this discussion a lot. Like, okay, what are we going to talk about? It's always, let's just try to talk about what we think that the most people who would be are interested in, right? Like people at work, when you go to fill up your coffee cup or fill up your water bottle or, take a break, go to the break room for a minute. What's everybody talking about? Well, this is one of those days. I don't even know where to start. Well, it's probably the Derrick Henry news that he is being shopped. Now, if you listen to this show, you would know that months ago, the hitman tried to prepare all you guys and said, listen, this actually goes back to this being a multiple day topic on the show. Is A.J. Brown on the trade block or not? Because the head coach says he's never going to get traded. And you said you can't listen to that. You can't. It doesn't matter. It's business. Eventually, if business is going to get done, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. Name anybody on the team. Business is going to get you someday. Yeah. Well, sure enough, business got A.J. Brown.
Mm-hmm. So I said you could never say never.
You can't say never.
And you can't say that about the King as I went down, Bayard, even Jeffery Simmons. People think I'm crazy, but where do you get the most value? And, oh, by the way, I heard Buckingham talking about, and Lucas, you guys, Jeffery Simmons, not Jeff Henry, Jeffery Simmons is going to bring more value than Derrick Henry. Sorry, Charlie. This is just how it works. He's a stud. He's one of the top 3 players at his position. Now, you can say Derrick Henry is, but actually he's not, folks. He's the best runner of running backs. He is not the best running back, which means being able to catch the ball like McCaffrey, Kamara, guys of that ilk. That's why he won't bring as much value as them. That's why they keep talking about versatility. They're not sitting on the sidelines on third down. Derrick Henry is. Or passing situations, long down and distance passing situations. So, hey, and they're still just talk now. They're putting it out there that, hey, they want to see, get some fillers of what it's worth. And to be honest, as I said before, I think Derrick Henry would probably not be mad about getting traded at this point in time based off where the team is at and going through a season like he just went through. And no different from Simmons or probably Bayard or any other high-profile, really great player. Because they want to go, now it's about they make the money, Simmons trying to get the money, and now they're trying to get to the Super Bowl. That's it. That's the only thing left on the docket for some of these guys. And they probably think that we're somewhat in a rebuilding framework here. So, Jeffery Simmons, though, I wouldn't be shocked at all that he gets traded. Remember, first of all, he had surgery on his ankle or whatever injury he had. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the ramifications of that and how well it's going and how he's doing with rehab or anything like that. And he scrubbed his whole, social media accounts and or deleted them. So that means he's what? Oh, he's upset. Okay. Yeah. Is that a big deal? Yeah, kind of, but kind of not. But actually it tells you that they actually are negotiating. That's what it tells me. And obviously enough to make him upset to get rid of all his Titans info. So, I don't know if that'll get anything done or not. But what I can say is if of all the players on the team, if healthy, Jeffery Simmons brings the most value. And if you're on a team that only has 6 picks and you need multiple positions, you may have to let go of a great player to get a whole bunch of really good players. That's just the way it works, and you beat them by numbers. Now, will any of those players ever equate, and not even the same position, as good as Big Jeff? Probably not. Probably not. And Big Jeff is sitting on the side saying, man, you guys aren't being loyal to me. I played with a jacked up ankle. I was playing with one athlete. They don't care. Remember I told you they would use this against him in negotiations. That's how this game works. That's why guys won't play injured. Nope. For one, nobody's talking about you're injured when you don't play well and don't perform, as I did about Big Jeff. He kind of disappeared when hats off to him. He did a great job. He played. But we would go games and they wouldn't even call his name. See? Nobody watched the tape and said, oh, he was on the injury report. He had a hurt ankle. Heard how soft I said that? No, because they don't give a rat's you know what. They don't. No team does. They look at production. You are a commodity. Don't forget it. So, hey, all bets are off, especially when you get a new GM. Period. And the Titans are wearing their throwback Oiler jerseys here this season, so that's pretty cool news. I know you love that, right?
They need to drop that pretty soon to divert some of his attention.
You saw him drop that, though? You saw him drop that today, like literally after all the rumors about Henry. I keep want to say Big Henry.
Well, he is big. That works.
Well, he is a massive, freakish athlete type guy. So we don't know if anybody will be traded. But I've been saying the entire offseason, especially after Howard ran, all bets are off on every single player. Every single player. This is now his reign, and he's starting his way, and wouldn't be shocked of anything, even Tannehill, as I didn't mention his name, so I'm going to even put his name in there. Just depends. We could put Lucas' name in there, too.
Lucas is pretty valuable. He's valuable. He'd probably fetch quite a bit in a trade.
Yeah.
Like 2 bags of Cheez-Its.
I would blame it. You like Cheez-Its?
What?
The puffy kind of Cheez-Its are fantastic.
But see, watch this. You would be much more valuable than me. I would be last on the list between us 3. Guess what? I can just give you my analysis. You can work behind the board. You can work, doing the board. You can talk on air. You can be the point guy. See, Derrick Henry can't be all of those things. He's only a good running back, not a good blocker, not a great receiver. Receiver is down the field, not catching a screen pass. That's a flare pass. See, that's why those players are better than him amongst the industry. It's about versatility. See? So at the end of the day, that's what this is about.
So
more things you can do.
The more you can do, kids. Remember that. As Blaine pointed out, so Big Jeff scrubbed his social media this weekend. At first, he, I guess, deleted his Twitter because I couldn't find it. And he unfollowed the Titans on Instagram, then he just deleted all of it. So Big Jeff did that. There's negotiations going on. So
Assumption.
So then Mike Silver, I guess, had released his report on he's a reporter for Bally Sports, but he's been around. Wayne, you remember him covering?
Oh, yeah, he did a story on me, but yeah, he's been around a long time.
Mike Silver,
seasoned vet.
Long-time NFL reporter, seasoned vet, very well respected. He basically did a story about quarterback movement, mostly about Aaron Rodgers, and like in the second to last paragraph, just mentioned that the Titans are shopping Derrick Henry and Jalen Ramsey's getting shopped, and I think DeAndre Hopkins was the other guy that he mentioned. Just in an offhanded comment, he said, to be sure, trade talk was rampant at the combine, according to my sources. All of them are general managers currently. The Titans running back Derrick Henry, Los Angeles Rams cornerback Jalen Ramsey, and Arizona Cardinals receiver DeAndre Hopkins are among the players who've been shopped at recent days. Then he went on right on talking about quarterbacks. It took that a couple of days to get out, I guess. Report's a couple of days old, got picked up by a couple of people. Now that's everywhere. So the Derrick Henry getting shopped, the Big Jeff thing, and then Bud Dupree, the report from Ian Rappaport, that he would be cut today. So all of this.
Is that cut actually a June 1st cut, or is that an actual cut?
He didn't specify, and it's a crap ton more money if it's June 1st.
Wow. Okay.
But Spot Track shows him cut now. They don't show him on the current roster. And the Titans are at $19.3 million of cap space, which is 11th in the league per Spot Track. 19.3. Now, if you
That's-
waited until June 1st, the Bud Dupree thing turns into like 17 million of cap space. It was 9.3. It becomes 17
6 moment. Yeah.
if you wait until June 1st.
So they can get up to 25. 26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he didn't specify, just said they're going to part ways with him. Now the Titans could announce it. It could come out, via Jimmy Wyatt that he will be a post June 1st cut. None of that has come from the team yet, but now you need another edge guy. You can put that on the list of things that they really need.
Yeah.
Because you got Harold Landry, who we all love, as you pointed out many times. Hey man, he's still Harold Landry, but guess what he's coming off of? ACL.
And he will have an entire
Full
year. Yeah. So that doesn't mean every knee is different. So that doesn't mean he'll come back as good as he was before or better. We don't know. But you got to plan for just in case he has some hiccups along the way. And so, I'm sure they will, which they have some guys, role guys who can fill in at times and give them a little more snaps than normal. But, yeah, this is an interesting time here for the Titans. A lot of Titan news.
So Chuck is on the line. Phil is on the line. We'll do Ding Dong of the Week coming up. But all this Titans news. Here's a question we have out on Blaine and Mickey's Twitter. Is there any scenario that you are okay with a Derrick Henry trade for? If it's to trade up for a quarterback in the draft, would you be good with that? If it's just for more draft capital, and I can tell you when we come back, I can tell you what the most recent big name running back that's been traded is McCaffrey. I can tell people what he got traded for. I can do that when we come back. Do they get a similar haul for Henry? He's a different guy than McCaffrey. Different dude. I mean, McCaffrey is that catching the ball out of the backfield, that multidimensional, that Lucas guy who does a whole lot of different stuff.
Mm-hmm. And really good at all of them.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
So we can tell you what those picks were, or just if they just need to do it to clear more, just to clear more space, or you're not okay with any of it. You can sound off on that 615-737-1045. Follow us on Twitter at Blaine and Mickey there. And we'll also take your phone calls. And let's start with who was up first today, and that is Chuck in Clarksville. Chuck, thanks for calling Blaine and Mickey.
Hey, Mickey and Blaine. I think it's a
buddy.
good thing Jeff's off of everything. I think he's being smart because that keeps him from saying anything stupid. It keeps all of our fans from saying anything stupid to him and getting riled up. So I think it's a good thing. Now, as far as your question, if they could trade Derrick Henry to Chicago for the number 1 overall pick, which 11, and maybe one more pick next year, then I might be okay with it. But that'd be about it.
Ooh, who do you want him to pick then if that scenario happened?
Stroud.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
Stroud. Chuck coming off
Yeah,
the
that's
top
right. The
rope there.
combine was ended, man. That quarterback, those quarterbacks, boy, woo, they were impressive for sure.
You think it was smart of Bryce Young to just keep his sweats on and say, I'll do it at Pro Day?
I do. And I'll tell you the reason why on the other side.
Oh, let's do it. Also, Phil in Portland, and your calls on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, 615-737-1045. It is a big Monday on Blaine and Mickey. Mickey 1045 The Zone. Ding Dong of the Week coming up, courtesy of Mark Spain Real Estate. But let's continue to take some calls. And by the way, if you have a ding dong for Ding Dong of the Weekend, maybe your ding dong would be whoever wants to trade Derrick Henry. That's maybe an idea for you. But
You're going to trade it? Ding dong. Oh.
whoever has the biggest ding dong this week for Ding Dong of the Week gets, what is it? Not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 Nashville SC tickets, Lucas?
4 tickets to Nashville SC's game against Montreal at Geodis Park this Saturday for the biggest ding dong.
Are they going to wear the black uniforms again?
I don't know. I'm not positive. They wore them again at New York Red Bulls last Saturday. So we'll see if they go back to gold this week.
I know they got their color scheme, but it'd be hard to not wear those. If you had access to those uniforms, it would be hard not to wear those. So here's what we got on the table. Bud Dupree will be released according to Rap Sheet. Big Jeff spent the weekend deleting all of his social media. Read into that what you will. And then a Mike Silver article, which is now a day or two old, has surfaced this morning with a mention, just dropped casually, in a conversation about quarterbacks that Derrick Henry is being shopped at the Combine. That's all the stuff that's going on. So we'll take your ding-dong calls. I got a couple of Big Jeff and Derrick Henry calls that we will get to as well. Let's get to – you want Titans calls or ding-dong calls first? Where do you want to go?
Oh, yeah, we can go whatever you like.
All right, let's take the calls in order which they were received.
Okay.
And if you're a Titans caller, do you want to throw in a ding dong? Feel free to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Phil in Portland up first. Hello, Phil.
Just throw that ding dong in there.
Do it.
Oh, ding, ding, dong. Hey, y'all got me over here jamming on my work site, man.
Oh, okay.
I like it. Hey, I didn't mean to butcher a classic, so y'all give me a ding-dong for that one right there. I know my voice ain't the greatest opera singing there or whatever you call it, hip-hop these days. Listen, here's what my question. I want to give this to Blaine. Blaine, you know, when you got these players going through here and deleting their accounts and, you know, pretty much turning their back on the Titans because they're not getting along with whatever the negotiations is, do you think that's a classy move? Because I don't see you as a player ever doing that type of stuff. I just wanted to see what your viewpoint on how they are conducting themselves. I know it's business, but then even though it's business, do you still supposed to carry yourself a certain way? That's my question. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I did not have social media when I played, but I definitely would address it accordingly in that manner. And I think, first of all, most football players, and this is the oversight part that is mostly missing, to make most guys that are successful in what they do in football, there's an emotional component to it, and it never gets talked about on game day. Well, they also feel like there's some loyalty to it. That's why I told you, I've said that on air, is you got to watch out on balancing your relationship with your coaches, because sometimes you think now you become so close, we are now friends, but when it comes down to business with you, with the team, they're always going to separate themselves from it. You must not forget that part of it, and that layer. And as a player on social media, I'm using an example, is you must conduct yourself the same way. So I wouldn't delete any of it. Guess what? It tells you the story about you and your career, whether it's going to be here, you get traded, they're not offering you. Here's one thing that I would never do. They're never going to know how I'm thinking, ever. And that tells you a little bit about how you're thinking, whether you're going to be here, there, you're upset. So, yeah. And I held out, by the way, when I was franchise tagged, and I wouldn't talk to nobody, none of the coaches. Guess who I would talk to? My agent. What'd they say? You sorry? All right, I got to go to the track. See you. Talk to you tomorrow. Tell me what they say. They don't say nothing, we don't need to talk. And I just go out there and put in that work. 2-a-days. They doing 2-a-days, I do 2-a-day. And my 2-a-day going to be harder than your 2-a-day. Mm-hmm. That's how I thought. There was no emotion attached to it. Now, did I kind of cuss them out with my agent? Like talking to my agent? Sure. They said, what? Oh, man, that's a bunch of crap. They a bunch of BS. What? Come on. How could he say that? Yeah, because it's negotiations. See? So if I was on the other end of negotiations, they would have heard that frustration. See? No, that's why you got your agent. Let them do that. So, no, they would never know what I'm playing, what I'm thinking, none of that. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yeah. But, you know, here from Big Jeff's point of view, he saw it work for A.J. Brown. Well, maybe it'll work for me. See? So, it may.
AJ got that bag. He went somewhere else, but he got it.
Mm-hmm.
Carried that bag all the way to the Super Bowl.
And A.J. Brown actually exceeded my expectations. I thought he was a top 10 for sure wide receiver. He's shown he's top 5. That's a big difference. We all know Big Jeff is in the top 5.
Yeah.
At D tackle. So sometimes timing is everything.
Speaking of timing, what was it that you teased on the other side of the break? You said,
Bryce Young, should he work out or not?
Should he have worked out or not? He was standing there in his sweats.
Yeah. Now, throwing the football, I think he's a phenomenal talent, but I just don't think he would have lived up to what, all the other parts of it besides throwing with Richardson and Levis and all, and Stroud. They all look good. I really like the way Stroud was throwing the ball, to be honest. I thought he looked natural. I like natural-looking throwers. It looks like he came out of the womb throwing the football. That's it. Levis and Richardson look more like power, even though they flick at that thing, take off like a rocket. It just, that's just a preference. Athletically, Richardson did everything they thought he was going to do, and he was going to, impress everybody naturally. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's on that Cam Newton level type, athlete off the charts now. Can he, and people in the league are going to go, but like, I can work with that. I can make his accuracy. I can do all these things that they said he couldn't do. Now, he looked great against Tennessee. Then you go watch another game, he looked like he couldn't hit the backside of a barn. So, I don't know what to expect, but his upside, and they take chances and they take risk on a player like that, because if he works out, he will be one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. So it just depends on how much patience you have and where you're at in the organization with your starter, and can you wait a year and then start him? See, so there's a lot of, tentacles here. But, yeah, I wasn't I thought he was going to do that. So, But guess what? I'm still a believer. Granted, I understand the upside. When I turn on the tape, what do I see? And that's the guy who he is. Yeah. And so don't lose grasp of that. But some guys will be like, I can coach him up.
Oh, like you always say, it's traits, man. The T word.
He
traits.
got all the traits. He's got them all. Off the charts, too. Richter scale. It was like, wow, the dude, oh, man, he was just phenomenal. Golly.
He's the size of an edge guy, basically, and he had the workout of a skill player.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just ridiculous what he did.
Impressive.
Tony the Stud up next. Tony on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. What's up, Tony?
Putting a new cover on a boat.
Oh, okay.
Listening to y'all show, man, getting ready for the summer.
I like it.
Hey, I wanted to give my opinion on trading Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? He's been in the league a little bit, I think, longer already than what the normal average would be. Now, it's unique. The only thing I think about when I think about Derrick Henry is I still don't put him as the number one overall back. I still think of Christian McCaffrey. I still think of Dalvin Cook. I still think of Nick Chubb. I still think of Saquon Barkley. There are a number of guys out there that are really great running backs that are more well-rounded, I think I would say, with everything. And your ability to block, your ability to catch passes, and be able to do other things. And I felt like if you trade Derrick Henry right now, especially with some of the moves that we've made already, it would almost force you into a philosophy change, which I think would be excellent for Tennessee. Everything that I think Tennessee has done in recent years has been solely based around Derrick Henry. And some of the contracts and the money that we're letting go right now, it's part of business. What we continue to talk about is, you can't have 13, $25 million guys on your team. So if you can find value in Henry, which I think his dead cap is like 10 and a quarter. The only question is how much are you losing with the other 6 that you can get out of it that you're saving to go and get somebody else? So obviously the offensive line is a huge deal with that. But yeah, if you can get value, I definitely think that you go out there and get it, and you take it, and you do what you can with it for sure. Absolutely. Talk to y'all soon.
Tony, thank you, man. Get that boat covered up there. Get ready for the summertime.
Well said, yeah.
4 Nashville SC tickets on the line for Ding Dong of the Week. 615-737-1045. We got a bunch of Ding Dong calls. We got room for a couple more Ding Dongs if you want to.
Here, one more question, though. If you trade Derrick Henry, who is must-watch TV on the team? So there's a business side to this now. Yep. And, I get what the fans are coming from. Like, oh, you can't, you trade Derrick. Who are you coming to watch to see? They must find that player if they trade Derrick Henry. Whether it's through the draft or free agency. And it doesn't have to be a running back.
Right.
I mean, it could be, receiver. It could be anywhere. But a pass rusher, just, somebody's got to get – who do I got to go see? And usually it's on the offensive side of the ball. Whether it's quarterback, running back.
Stonehouse.
Stonehouse. The punter. Well, come on, man. No.
Fun to watch.
Yes, he is. But he's only on the field 5 times a game. Maybe more than that. But, yeah. So it's somebody who plays regularly on the offense or defense.
They're going to tell you, hey, look at this tackle we take.
Yeah.
Let's get Eric
Yeah, they don't sell the tickets
to
now.
lead us off with a ding-dong first. Hello, Eric.
Hey, guys, I've got a couple, but I've just letting you know right now, I'm not going to be able to go Saturday, so I'm taking myself out of the running. So
Fair enough.
let somebody else who can go and use the ticket. So, but I've got a couple. One sports-related and one not sports-related. Guys, there's so many different directions I could go, but I'm going to give one. I've got to give it to Jerry Jones because I heard a report earlier today that he was comparing Dak Prescott to Tom Brady. Are you kidding me?
What?
You're comparing a quarterback. A quarterback has won 7 Super Bowls to a quarterback that has not even won 7 playoff games. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you've got to be kidding me. Until recently, the Cowboys had never beaten the Patriots and Bill Belichick until that crazy overtime game last year. And this time in the playoffs was the first time the Cowboys had ever beaten Tom Brady. So get out of here with that mess. Jerry Jones, you get ding-dong for that. But my other ding-dong is this, guys. One of the things you probably heard about this, the Girl Scouts do is sell their Girl Scout kickers. And, of course, they've got a new flavor that's raspberry that's really, really popular. It's about $5 a box. And, of course, it's going to support the Girl Scouts. But my ding-dong going, all these people now, apparently there's such high demand, they're buying them up to do them this, to go online and sell them. I've heard prices anywhere from like $100 to $500. And, of course, they're taking the money and pocketing that. And the Girl Scouts have had to release a statement saying, please don't do this, because this money is going to support our organization. And the people, of course, some online, are not selling them to support the Girl Scouts. They're support to just make a big fat profit off of them. So my ding-dong goes to those people that are doing that. That's a shame. You need to stop that.
Yeah.
Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Man, pirating Girl Scout cookies.
Wow.
The ding-dongery is there.
Hey, my wife bought 5 boxes of different ones, too.
Put those rascals on eBay. There you go. Start selling them. Like Eric said, you double your money.
Wow. You know that, man. Got to be resourceful these days.
Yes, you do. Paxton is resourceful. He's calling us with a ding-dong of the week. Hello, Paxton.
Hey, guys. Good afternoon. So before I give my ding-dong, I just want to say that I believe, as it stands and as it appears, that this team is going into I don't know what the term was used, but we're going into a complete rebuild. Hearing rumors about shopping Derrick, seeing about, Big Jeff, obviously, and this started with AJ Brown last year, and we didn't think about this, but this was AJ Brown. This was us starting the rebuild. So I believe that this is what's about to happen, and I'm old enough to remember, as a kid watching Ed McNair and Derek Mason wearing a Ravens jersey and watching, us get rid of Yancey Thigpen. I'm taking y'all back with these names. I remember seeing Eddie George in a Cowboys jersey, and I remember our very own Blaine Bishop playing for the Houston Texans. So I remember seeing these guys that I grew up loving and idolizing not being a part of this team anymore because of a rebuild or a building a new team. So my ding-dong of the week is for any Titans fans that do not understand the business side of the NFL, that do not understand that this is something that happens every 5 to 10 years. Mm-hmm. It's just something that's going to be a thing. If you're talking about selling your tickets, if you're talking about not being fans because this is happening, because your favorite player is going to be possibly released, then you're a ding-dong, and I'm so sorry. So, hey, Blaine, it hurt me to see you play for the Texans, man.
He was an Eagle, not a Texan.
I was always a fan.
An Eagle.
Oh, I'm sorry, the Eagles.
Yeah,
My
the
God,
Eagles here. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about I'm thinking about Houston. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the Oilers, right.
But I remember you leaving, and I hate it. So that's my ding-dong, guys, and I'll hang up and listen, man. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Paxton.
Yeah, and that's the part that's hard when you're a fan. It really is. As much as I love Big Jeff and King, Bayer, anybody that's a high profile, I love those players too. But I understand how this business, and I learned it pretty quickly when I was a rookie, and they traded Warren Moon. So I know. Then I was on the team with McNair. So what happens, and you only have a shelf life, and I think that shelf life is over. Now, we're talking about rumors, and they put out there to see what they could probably get for Derrick Henry. Doesn't mean he's going to be traded. And by the way, let's not forget, Derrick Henry were part of rumors before when his contract was almost up that they put out there, and they were going to, there was a lot of rumors that they were going to trade him at that time, which was 4 years ago maybe now. So this is a second go-round. So whether it happens or doesn't, I'm just trying to prepare you that the possibility, as I've said from the beginning, all hands are on deck once you got a new GM. So it's the nature of the beast in the business, unfortunately.
Let's get JC up next in Springfield with the ding dong, courtesy of Mark Spain. What's going on, JC? What's your ding dong?
Texas Tech's coach, Mark Adams.
Yeah, what did he do? I know he got suspended. What did he get? I don't know the details of that.
He got suspended for quoting a scripture talking about masters and servants and slaves, teaching a player how to be coachable. And then he doubled down. He said, well, I explained it to the team, but I did not apologize.
Oh, my.
So that's when they suspended him. They gave him a reprimand at first, and then he didn't apologize, and I think they suspended him. So I think that's worthy of a ding-dong.
Mm-hmm.
JC, appreciate the phone call.
Oh, no, maybe that's probably why I didn't read it. I started that way, and I went, nope, out.
Yeah, it didn't go
I agree
that way.
with the Emmett Jones here, and I don't know the details here with Ja Morant, but just a lot of bad, classless type behavior. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't know what the rules are with traveling with guns or not, but they were in Denver, and he's at it out. It just you just can't do that, especially in the position he's at as a superstar of the NBA. They're paying attention, and it's not good. I wouldn't be surprised if he is suspended longer. I'm going to say he's suspended. He said he's taking time off. I'm saying he's suspended. I think the NBA is saying, no, you got to step away, and we don't know how long this is going to be, but it's going to at least be 2 games. I think they told him that. And they gave him the attaboy because of he's a star player.
Yeah.
He's got to get his stuff together. I don't know where all this is coming from, that he feels like he has to, be hard on the streets or something, but that you can be hard on the streets because you won't be in the NBA. Dude, we got to do better than that.
Well, you can only hope maybe this is a wake-up call,
I don't know where this came from. Like, I don't know him personally, so I didn't see that. I don't know why he feels like he has to be so hard. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. If not, then you hang around the wrong people.
Yeah.
Gotta say no. Bye.
Yeah. Silas in Nashville, he's not saying bye, he's saying hi.
That was
us.
Emmett's ding dong, so I just wanted to add that in there. That definitely would be one.
Sure. Silas, what you got? Ding dong of the week. 4 tickets on the line.
Yes. Blaine kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to also mention Ja. No, don't apologize. It's kind of a big topic, isn't it? He apologized. He put that out, and I think he's being genuine. I think he knows that he made a mistake. But, it's got a history in the NBA with guns. With you think about Gilbert Arenas in the mid-2000s.
Oh, that's right. I remember that in the locker room.
So there's precedent for it, and bringing it on the team playing is problematic. So I would have to go with Ja for my ding-dong of the week. But I'll leave it at that. I'll hear what y'all got to say, and I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
Appreciate the phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I have another thing now. This one is kind of hilarious. Since we went from serious to, I would have softened the blow
serious
here.
Quickly.
NFLPA did a survey on all the organizations from their actual players on their team.
Yep.
And a lot of different variety of things. But this in particular that is a ding-dong to me has to do with the Arizona Cardinals and their players, in that the Arizona Cardinals organization, listen, tune in, Lucas. Imagine if you had to do this every day here with 104.5 The Zone. They made their players pay for their meals at the facility. Arizona Cardinals. Talking about ding dong. What the heck are they doing? You're supposed to be tied in with the strength and conditioning and everything else with the meals there. So that blew me away. I couldn't believe it. Matter of fact, I would be there not only for lunch, I'd watch film with the coaches in the evening time. And so I'd be eating free dinner. That's how I would be.
Not with the Cardinals. Hey, Blaine, that's going to cost you $15.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Take that out of your check.
Oh, well, dude, I can go get me, maybe not for $15. I can't go get no steak, but I can get a steak up in here for $15. I still might have stayed because it's cheaper.
Oh, maybe hey, that'll cost you $30, Blaine. $30. Yeah, you can watch film with us.
I
It's gonna
couldn't
come out of
believe
your
that,
check.
man. I was stunned.
How
I mean,
could they be that cheap?
I have no idea. Oh man, I don't know. That's covering somebody's salary. I don't know, man. That I can't believe that. I was like, I about fell out my chair, man. The Arizona Cardinals, man.
How about the Jags on that list with a rat invasion?
Yeah, I saw that.
Not the band
Infested,
rat. Yes,
they had-
infestation of
my,
rats.
That was
That's just
nasty.
Jacksonville.
That was just nasty.
Oh, Lucas.
Yeah.
Duval.
Yes, jeez. Hey, Louise.
All right, we got more ding dong calls, Ryan. Bill Hold, we will get to you when we come back. Also tease this, so I will pay it off. If you're wondering what running backs are worth in the trade market, here is what Christian McCaffrey netted the Panthers in exchange from the 49ers. A 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. A 2, a 3, a 4 from one draft, and a 5 in the next draft.
That was a lot.
2, 3, 4, 5.
They not getting that for Derrick Henry.
So
I'm just telling you that right
2,
now.
3, 4, 5. So all you thinking, 2 number ones, trade him directly for the first pick. That ain't happening. Christian McCaffrey got a 2, a 3, and a 4 from one draft and a 5 in the next. So use that, store that away.
And can we get 2 of those picks? Does it tell you on Spot Track like what he would be worth?
No trade value. No trade value. Your phone calls are valuable, though, and we will come back and take more of them. Ding Dong of the Week continues next.
There's a chart they use.
Are we having a good time yet? Lots of ding-dong phone calls. Ding-dong of the week brought to you by Mark Spain Real Estate. Lots going on. Derrick Henry trade shopping rumors and Bud Dupree being shown the door by the Titans per rap sheet. And Big Jeff doesn't have social media anymore. And we're taking phone calls about ding-dongs.
He has no social media. That's hilarious.
He deleted it. No more. He's on to the next thing. Ding Dong of the week. Let's get to Ryan in Nashville next. 4 Nashville SC tickets on the line for the biggest ding dong this week that you can bring to us here. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Taking the call. I have 2 quick ding dongs. One was from the last home game that Nashville SC played. I do rideshare. I drive a lot for Uber. And the city and Nashville SC and Geodis Park, I guess, they didn't communicate how to set that up, so they essentially just made people walk like a half mile to a mile to get to their rideshare, so ding dong. And my second one would be any Manchester United player, fan, or pundit that thought they were going to win this weekend, and then they get blanked 7-0 at Liverpool. Their worst Premier League loss in history. So I'm going to hang up and listen. Thanks, guys.
Lucas probably got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and sat through that debacle.
No, that was a good old 10 a.m.-ish kickoff. So I was happy about that.
You'd be lubed up by that time, 10 a.m. You could have had a couple Bloody Marys with your breakfast.
No, not quite, Mickey. I had to do some LLS stuff
later
on in the night, which was really fun. But
Bill,
he got it from his brunch.
Bill in the borough with a ding-dong of the week. Bill, what you got?
Hey, guys, I appreciate you. I really, really enjoy your show. I used to listen to your counterparts at the Big W, but every day at 1 o'clock, I'm tuning in to you guys.
Well,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's no problem. I'm a huge Chiefs fan, but I do pull for the Titans and my ding-dong of the week is Juju. Social media is not good for athletes or politicians. For some reason, he started a Twitter war with the Eagles. Patrick Mahomes tried to save him the first week, but he just won't stop. And for a guy that is on a 1-year contract and trying to get another contract, you'd think that might be a headache for an organization that's trying to build in another direction. So I'm going to hang up and listen to what you think.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Maybe that's why Big Jeff deleted his. I can't feud with anybody if I ain't got it. It's chess, not checkers.
I don't know if people won't be feuding with Big Jeff.
I wouldn't feud with Big Jeff.
I don't know if I'd be doing
Keyboard
that.
warriors, though, Everybody gets 10 feet tall and bulletproof behind the keyboard.
You're right.
Jerry in Cumberland City. I don't know if he's 10 feet tall or bulletproof, but he was kind enough to call. What you got, buddy?
Well, Blaine, first off, could you imagine the Titans with Drew Hill hitting with Jeffery and Simmons running right now? That would be fantastic. I love watching them as a kid. Secondly, I'm a huge Vikings fan, and the Vikings just let go of Eric Kendricks. Last year, they let go of Anthony Barr. I feel like at this point with where Derrick Henry is, I mean, I can just see the Titans being like, something's about to happen. It's like you don't know. There's no real evidence that not anything maybe is going to happen. But there's just that uneasiness, and it's like, if we can unload him before it happens on our watch, more power to him.
Okay, he just racked himself.
What did he say in the beginning? Did you hear him?
Something about Ernest Givens and that era of Oiler football that you played on.
I wasn't doing that era. I caught the last end of that.
Yeah.
They cut all those dudes after my rookie year. But he told them. He told us. I was, I was wet around the ears, man. I thought he was going to cut everybody.
Everybody. Yeah. Just get 53 new people.
Hey, this is the last time for this team to go. Last time for what? I just hear we getting get cut. Who getting cut? I just got here.
That team was so loaded. It's still hard to believe that team.
That's what he said.
You played on 2 loaded teams. One in Houston and in Nashville. That Houston team, we got into it one day.
I couldn't even tell you which team is better. I want to lean towards the Titan team better, but man, I mean, William Fuller, Sean Jones, Ray Childers, and they can talk about all them dudes are all borderline Hall of Fame guys. And they ain't even talking about the offense with the run and shooting. Warren Moon and Webster Slaughter. These are guys I watched like when I was in high school. I was like, dang, these dudes are sweet. Haywood Jeffries, Ernest Givens, Lorenzo White, Gary Brown, Al Smith, Michael Barrow, Chris Dishman, Darrell Lewis, Mark Robb. Well, some guys you never even heard of. Bo Orlando.
I remember him.
Me and Bo was the 2 backup safeties, and then we both end up starting. He was from West Virginia.
All right, one more ding-dong call. Brian in West Nashville.
Cecil.
I remember Chuck Cecil. He was like you. He had everything that moved. Brian in West Nashville with a final ding dong for the competition for 4 tickets. Brian, what you got for us?
Hey, Blano, I've been missing you down in Franklin, man. It's the neighborhood Frito-Lay guy, man. I used to see you all the time.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Hey, man, I guess I got to give one to that last caller, man. It sounded like, you remember back in the day we would speak through the earpiece and listen through the mic. That's what it sounded like. That's what that last caller was doing.
Okay.
Hey, but for myself, man, I followed Vandy since I was a kid, man. I'm a Michigan fan, but my mom worked at Vandy, so I have to give one to myself because after Alabama put up that steep note against Vandy, I counted Jerry Stackhouse out, and I said that guy needs to go that day. But he has really gotten that team to turn around, man. You know, honestly, I don't know if this is a team you want to play in the SEC tournament right now. I know they just lost Robbins, man, but I'm really impressed what he was able to get those guys to do because that was probably the most embarrassing game I've ever seen Vandy play. Yeah. But to see where those guys are and how they come along, man, you got to give Stackhouse some credit, man, because he just got that contract last year in the all season, but he's definitely earned it this second half of the season. But that's all I got, man. Y'all be good.
Yeah. I think a lot of people were thinking that. And after the 40-point loss, not only him, but also you got to give credit to the players. Yeah. For their, that was some serious. What they get beat by, like 40?
No, more than that.
More than that.
It was like 54.
It was like 101 to 40.
Yeah, I think people ready to jump ship, and they was ready to get rid of Stackhouse after that.
The type of loss that can just break your season.
It completely, and it brought them actually closer.
It did the opposite.
Yeah.
They won 8 of 9 since then.
And they've made some noise that now the SEC honors are coming down, voted by coaches. Stackhouse is co-coach of the year. Liam Robbins is all SEC first team and defensive player of the year in the SEC.
That rascal.
Oh, well, I love me some Liam Robbins, man.
You know who loves him? NBA scouts.
Oh, yeah.
Big fella, play defense, shoot. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I like him, boy. Man,
All right, hour number 2 coming up. We will pick a ding-dong winner, and we will let you know who is the winner of the 4 Nashville SC tickets. And we got a whole nother hour of this, lots of Titan stuff and more to get to on Blaine and Mickey.
It is 2:01. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com Sports Desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans made another cap-saving move earlier today, reported by Ian Rappaport that the team will release outside linebacker Bud Dupree, who is slated to make $17 million in 2023. That will save over $9 million against the cap for the Tennessee Titans. Postseason SEC basketball honors are out as voted by SEC coaches, and Vanderbilt making some noise as Jerry Stackhouse is co-SEC Coach of the Year alongside Buzz Williams of Texas A&M. Santiago Vescovi, the Tennessee guard, an all-SEC first-teamer, as is Vanderbilt's Liam Robbins, who also wins SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Alabama's Brandon Miller winning Freshman of the Year and Player of the Year, the first to do both since Anthony Davis did it for Kentucky over a decade ago. The QB carousel has officially started spinning. Free agent quarterback Derek Carr signing with the New Orleans Saints a 4-year, $150 million deal. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Hour number 2 coming up. Lots going on today. Lots of stuff. Maybe you've been living under a rock. Maybe your spaceship just landed in here. Maybe
the combine just ended.
The combine is over. Maybe you're one of the 100 people news. Who just moved here. Hey, breaking news, the combine is over.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, before we get into the Titan stuff, who was your favorite combiner of the weekend?
Oh.
Because if people are listening, they probably know that Derrick Henry's being shopped per Mike Silver, and Rap Sheet has reported that that's the end for Bud Dupree. He's getting cut, and Big Jeff doesn't have social media anymore. So we'll just assume that you know all that stuff. If you don't, now you know. Favorite combine performance for any of you?
I'll let Lucas go, the young buck.
Can I real quick, while we're talking combine, give you my ding dong of the week, who happens to be from the NFL combine?
100%.
Because we were doing player availability. This was, I want to say, was it Wednesday that they had out? Maybe Tuesday. Wednesday. They had outside linebackers, defensive linemen speaking with media. It was the day that Jalen Carter news came down. But before all of that, Byron Young, Tennessee edge rusher, was speaking to a few reporters on his podium, and I was gathered around a couple other reporters, Patrick Brown of GoVol's 247, and a reporter whose name I do not know was standing to the right of me and asked Byron Young about the other Byron Young, the Alabama defensive lineman. Hey, do you know him? How cool is it that there's two? Yeah, no, I haven't met him yet. He's a great football player, blah, blah, blah. And then this reporter follows that up with, and which one are you?
Huh?
And everybody standing around that podium slowly turned and looked. Are you kidding me? You just asked him who he is? Go walk 10 steps to your right and look at the giant TV monitor that says the name, the podium number, and the school that the kid went to. I couldn't believe that somebody was so lazy to ask him about the other Byron Young and then ask him to clarify whether he was the Tennessee or the Alabama one. That's my ding-dong of the week. My favorite combiner might be Nolan Smith, who crushed his media appearances. Really infectious personality, a likable guy, and then just blew his workouts out of the water. That dude is a freak athlete, got hurt, missed the majority of Georgia's season in the national championship run. But his 40, under 4.4, his vertical, he probably had the best day as far as the measurements and testing goes and workouts of any defensive player, in my opinion.
Man, it was so many, to be honest. I'm always watching closely the running backs and the DBs because that's kind of my wheelhouse growing up. I was a running back all the way through till I get to college. So, I like Gibbs. Naturally, how can you not talk about Richardson? He was off the charts, but the receivers didn't blow me away this year. Actually, O-linemen. Actually, I was really interested. They actually had a nice group of players that I think the Titans. I'm always thinking Titans frame of mind. They can get a good player at 11, even if they move down. They can still get I really like what I saw out of Darnell Wright. I liked Paris Johnson. I liked Broderick Jones, and then Darnell Wright. Those are my three that I like for the Titans. I do not like the guy that was the mammoth, the huge guy that was at the Senior Bowl.
DeJuan Jones?
Yeah, I did not like what I saw him moving laterally. I just, he's just okay. Like, I feel like he's a guard. Then I'm like, man, how many 6'8" guards are there? So I think speed is going to be an issue. Like, this is where it comes into play. It made me think about back to the Senior Bowl, watching those guys rush him. I'm like, it's like me going against a tight end that's a brute, and he is strong and big. And like, what am I gonna do with that? Oh, I'm gonna go jam him up so he can push my little butt down. Yeah, right. No. Why didn't they try to run around him instead of try to run through him? So I want to see him move side to side. I would have gave some juke moves like I was a running back if I was rushing or anything with spin move, chop, anything to make him change direction. Because that's what it looks like he's going to have a little bit of issue with. And you try to bull him. Nah, he's a massive human being. He going to swallow you. So, yeah, there was a lot of guys that performed well. But I was watching more from the framework of what's the Titans. I like the Tyree Wilson guy from Texas Tech. A D-tackle, D-end kind of guy.
He's got like the 118-inch reach, whatever it is. Crazy.
Him too, but yeah, it was the cornerback T.J. Turner, as well as both the Maryland guys.
Who we saw run like so fast they ran out of the TV frame.
Both the Maryland guys were good. So even Porter's son, Junior, he looks solid for 6'2.5", 6'3" guy running the 4.45. Yeah, that's good. So it was a lot of standouts though.
I'm going to throw the name in there because it's not like he's going to go super early or anything. But I just like how he always, well, when he didn't show up for the Senior Bowl, but when he shows up for things, he always just shows what he can do. Is old Stetson Bennett. He had a good combine.
Oh, yeah.
And people were talking about how fast that old Levis can throw it. He's got a cannon. Stetson Bennett threw the same speed that he did.
And guess what? They didn't mention it. They didn't even mention it. And that was alarming to me. That's
like 40 better than expected, too.
Yeah.
But see, why does that happen? See, like, I mean, you promoting another kid that he threw the fastest in, let's just say, combine history. And you don't miss the other guy who threw it because he's not as high rated.
Yep.
Come on, man. We got to stop that. You got to stop that. As soon as he said that, I was like, but didn't Stetson Bennett throw the same speed?
Exact same.
It was like, I think it was like 59 miles an hour or something like that.
Yeah. And neither of them had the top speed.
It was a guy from UCLA.
DTR.
Yeah.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
That rascal, he threw it, what, 60?
62, I think.
62.
Yeah, just insane.
Ooh, if I was Major League Baseball, Scott, I'd be like, hey, man, if this doesn't work out, you throw it a football that fast, we'd probably bring you to minor leagues to see what you can do.
I don't know how good a quarterback he is, but I saw him hurdle a human being.
Yeah.
In a game.
Oh,
live running. I was like, whoa. Like, he jumped over. The guy didn't bend down very far at all. I was like, whoa. Boy, he an athlete, man. What the heck?
He was so fun to watch.
Yeah,
at UCLA.
Is, yeah.
Him and Zach Charbonnet, the running back, were an awesome duo.
Yeah.
Other guy was Jackson Smith and Jigba, who didn't run but did everything else. He just looked like himself.
Oh,
he looked like himself. Yeah. He just the way he runs routes, and he's so smooth. And it took you back to the bowl game a couple of years ago, and he was fully healthy, and they're just out there doing whatever they wanted to.
Against Utah.
Yeah. Sorry, Dyson, if you're listening. I know that's your guys, but oh my gosh, Jackson Smith and Jigba just look like himself.
Well, I told you he's a great route runner. He's not a speed guy, and that's why he didn't run. But he quick, and I think he had the fastest 3-cone drill. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what I look for. Disappointment, I predicted 4.22. Yeah. I was still flying. I mean, I'm not going to take away. 4.41 is pretty fast. I'm sure he's going to run 4.3 something on his pro day. Mm-hmm. But I was expecting him to blow it out the water where we'd be like, man, this dude is. Nope. He was, he wasn't. Whoa. Yeah, I would and then he come up with the, my hand me tight, Oh, come on. You acting like Lucas now. Soft as butter. Come on, man. Don't come up with no excuse. I want to see you do the rest of the stuff, 3-cone and all that, man. I want to see, because that's really what I was interested in. I know he can run vertically fast. That's a no-brainer. But this game ain't just played on speed. And as we know, you got to get off the jam as well. Nobody's going to let you free release like you did in college. So those are, the things I want to see. What is his lateral quickness? I saw some things during the season that I talked to you about, but not on air, that I thought is going to be an issue because he needs to make people miss in short area distances, and he's not real adept at that. He would get tackled almost 9 out of 10 times.
He impressed more with his vert and his broad jump than he did his speed.
Yeah, and actually, I was impressed by that. Yeah, because that means he's got some explosive ability. Now, naturally, he's fast, but usually when you're a great vertical guy, you have really good short distance quickness too because of that explosive nature. So the numbers what was his 3-cone? Does it say?
3-cone, I can find
because
out.
I could never find it, but because I don't know if that's when he pulled up or not. Where he's didn't do, but he'll still. It didn't hurt him, but man, he could have had some wow factor after this if he would have ran like 4.3, low 4.3s.
Didn't do the 3-cone.
Yeah, and that's one of his weaknesses. I want to see what he does because I'm sure he worked on it. If he works on it, he's a decent route runner considering he's a speed guy.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a solid route runner.
And you mentioned this, Blaine Jackson, Smith and Jigba. He won the 3-cone thing by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was way.
Nobody could touch him. I remember I saw the numbers. Yeah, here's a big gap between him and number 2. And that's why he's the best route runner for that slot area type dude. And then that's when people get, oh, he's fast. Well, he is fast. Don't get me wrong, but he's a 4 or 5 guy who is has exceptional quickness and great route runner. Mm-hmm. So then, man, it makes you feel like he was 4.4 guy. When in reality, his vertical speed is not like that. He's nowhere near like Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah. And
Jalen Hyatt is not like him running routes either.
No.
Nobody is.
At one point, my son came in the room over the weekend because I just kind of kept that on the TV. He goes, "Are these guys still running in circles out there?" I said, "It's different people."
Yeah.
He thought it was just the same people who worked out every day, 5 days in a row. So if you see my son and want to explain the combine to him, you can do that. We need to just carry this conversation on. Justin Mello is going to join us next. Draft winners, losers, although nobody really loses. But what did he see at the combine?
Some people love.
Yeah, they did. Some money. What did he think about what he saw? Did it change any of his ratings? We'll get into all that next with our buddy Justin Mello of the Draft Network on Blaine and Mickey. Blaine and Mickey 104.5, The Zone rolling through a Monday. Lots of Titans news. Derrick Henry on the trade block per Mike Silver, and Big Jeff has deleted his social media over the weekend. So if you're on social media, don't waste your time looking for Big Jeff. He's not there. Also, Bud Dupree released. We're joined now by our buddy Justin Mello, the Draft Network, and a whole bunch of other different places. You can find his work all over the place at JustinM_NFL. Busy Titans Monday. I know we like to talk draft prospects with you and some free agents and things as well, but anything sort of stand out from the plethora of Titans news for you? Anything stand out the most today, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of everything, right? I think the Bud Dupree release, there have been whispers back and forth, right, whether or not that was going to happen. I thought it was one that probably needed to happen. I remember writing about it back in January. It was, fairly straightforward when you looked at their cap situation, entering the offseason, something like 25 million over the cap, being able to save like close to 10 by releasing them now. We don't know if, I'm assuming they're doing it now, but they could still, designated post June 1st, save up to 15 million. But most teams only do that, in case there's a massive, massive difference between the numbers. I think they'll probably take the $9 million in savings now. The 2 years out of him, missed a lot of football, only had 7 sacks combined. I just don't think that those numbers made sense anymore, right, for them to keep him on the roster. And then, of course, the Derrick Henry bombshell is a fairly large one. I think where people are going wrong with this is maybe it's easy to cast it aside as, it's another rumor, and there have been lots of rumors with the Titans this offseason, but this is a pretty factual rumor, it seems, right? Factual sources like Mike Silver, who broke this, is obviously very plugged in, and he didn't shy away from writing in his article that this information came from current NFL general managers, right? Like, I think to me that's really the sticking point for me, because as we all know, all 32 GMs were just together in Indianapolis for the Combine. Trade talks, frequently occur there. It's really a yearly tradition. So for a current GM to go to the meeting and say, hey, they were shopping Derrick Henry around, look, it is lying season, as I like to call it, right, in the NFL. There's lots of things that go around that aren't true, but it does seem like there's some weight here to these Derrick Henry reports.
Lots to get to here. Our man Justin Mello on with us from the Draft Network.
Well, Justin, let's stay with let's say free agency a little bit. And I just want to ask you really about one guy, and that's Mike McGlinchey, the offensive tackle, right tackle, the number 9th pick, I think in 2018 from Notre Dame for the 49ers. What have you seen from him on film, and then let alone where do you rank him as far as offensive tackles in the free agency?
Yeah, he's an excellent football player, right? I think the thing that sticks out to me the most, if the Titans were to pursue him, is it's an easy scheme fit, right? That's what you want to identify in free agency. You want to look at different guys that'll say, you can say, hey, they're going to come here and they fit our culture, they fit our offense. Look, the Titans are still running a variation, right, of the outside zone-based offense that Mike LaFleur installed when he was the offensive coordinator way back in Vrabel's first season, right, which was 2018. As we all know, that offense, it's really the brainchild of, the Shanahan family and the Shanahan coaching tree and what Sean McVay runs in Los Angeles. It's a very similar reason why they went out and got Robert Woods last year. That didn't work out, but they loved that he was coming from that, zone-based offense there with McVay. Well, if you want to get McGlinchey, he's extremely familiar with your concepts, right? It's the same zone-based rushing attack. Obviously, every offense is going to be a little different here and there with, jargon and things of that nature are going to vary, but it's something he'd be able to acclimate to. You're not putting him in a gap or power scheme, right, for example, whereas he'd come here, he knows the system. I rate him very highly, right? He's a very good player. In fact, I would say he's right up there. Now, I know the Kansas City Chiefs apparently are not going to tag Orlando Brown Jr. That news broke earlier today. Okay. So you're thinking he might be able to reach free agency now, but in all honesty, if I was the Titans and I was going to splurge at tackle, I would not go for Orlando Brown Jr. First of all, I don't think he played very well this year for the Chiefs. They're a bit overrated. Yeah, they won the Super Bowl, but I don't think they got, terrific play out of him, especially for the price tag he's going to command. if I was the Titans, I would look at exactly who you just said, Mike McGlinchey, and the one other guy that comes to mind that also played right tackle in a similar system is Caleb McGarry, right? Who's a free agent with the Atlanta Falcons, just played for Arthur Smith in Atlanta, right? And I think both those guys are probably going to come in at a similar price tag. They're not going to be cheap. You're probably looking at $14, $15 million a year for either one. They're both plug-and-play right tackles, though, right, who are still young enough. You can get them on a 4 or 5 year deal, and they're going to shore up that position for you for a very long time.
And what about the cornerbacks? I know the Murphy kid from Arizona is kind of where I want you to start first and then kind of go down there as your top 3 guys in free agency.
Yeah, it would be interesting if they can go in and bring a guy in at corner. I do think they could potentially need a veteran in this class due to, they've played a lot of inexperienced guys lately, right? I think, you're sort of at your wit's end with Caleb Farley. You're not sure that he's going to be a guy that can really, play much, football for you. Roger McCreary took his bumps and bruises, obviously, this past year as a rookie. And I thought he did a great job, in all honesty, considering what they put on his plate. They put so much on his plate, right? He was playing outside. He was playing inside. He was playing 100% of defensive snaps. So that's not easy, right, what they asked him to do. And then, of course, with Christian Fulton, he'll be entering a contract year in 2023, and he's a guy that's missed a lot of time with injury, right? So I think you sort of wonder what the future holds there for Christian Fulton. I don't love this free agency class, in all honesty, at corner. I don't think it's a terrific class. I would personally look at the NFL draft. We just had the combine in Indianapolis. Going in, I thought corner was potentially the deepest position in the entire draft, and that sort of reinforced my beliefs. If you saw what some of those guys did out there, Julius Brent, who I've been championing on this show the last time I came on, he was unbelievable, right? Joey Porter Jr. with, 34-inch arms, I think it was, and of course we know the NFL bloodlines that are there with his father and what he did with the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are a lot of really good corners in this draft. Emmanuel Forbes had a terrific day at corner out of Mississippi State, who set the record for pick six, touchdown returns. Yeah, right. So really a lot of terrific play. When I look at this class again for agency, I see more cautionary tales than anything. In all honesty, James Bradbury coming off a nice bounce back year with the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, he's about to be 30 years old. Jonathan Jones has been a very good corner for the New England Patriots, a versatile guy. He's about to be 30. Patrick Peterson's, managed to play well. He's 32. Bradley Roby with the Saints is 31. Marcus Peters with the Baltimore Ravens is 31. Right? The more you go down the list, you can identify some guys, of course. Emmanuel Mosley, again, Rand Carthon knows him well. He's 27. He was with the 49ers when Rand was there. I think that's a guy that would capture my attention potentially as a decent, bridge-type guy. And, Rocky Sin, they know him well. I imagine the Raiders are going to try to re-sign him after trading him, but he played for the Colts again in the division, so the Titans know him. But other than that, I would really focus my attention on the draft if I was the
no
Titans.
question. It's a deep draft here for defensive backs. We're on with Justin Mello with the Ed Draft Network. I want us to stay on this line real quick. Talk a little bit about your breakdown on the 2 Maryland cornerbacks as well as the South Carolina kid. I think it's Rush.
Yeah, Deontay Banks, I thought it's terrific. I really, first of all, watching Maryland on tape, I thought was some of my favorite experience this year because of those 2 corners, Deontay Banks and Jacorian Bennett. I was thrilled to see that they absolutely showed out at the combine. I've had Deontay Banks. I've been releasing big boards since I think January now this year. I've had Deontay Banks in the first round the entire time, and a lot of people thought, maybe I had him a little high, but I thought it was very clear when I watched the tape that this was a physical specimen, and I thought that's exactly what he proved in Indianapolis, right? That he's that kind of player that can come in, play man coverage on the boundary, and really give you a lot out there. Look, the testing numbers were outstanding for him, right? They were totally outstanding. And Jacorian Bennett, I will say that's one that surprised me a little bit with the testing. I didn't think he was going to test as well as he did, but he did. When you watch the tape at Maryland, he was a bit more versatile. They put him in a lot of different roles. He played boundary corner. He played safety even, and he played some nickel as well. But you got a 40.5-inch vert. The broad jump was more than 11 feet. So really impressed with him. Came in at 5'10", 193, good enough size, I think, especially when you take that testing into account. And then Rush, that's a guy that really took advantage of his time at the Senior Bowl. I thought the testing was okay, a 35-inch vertical. The size is really good at about 6'1", 196. But when they were at Mobile at the Senior Bowl, I thought he's one of the best corners there. He was certainly one of the revelations of the Senior Bowl. He was a huge surprise. I don't think many people expected that, especially because, as I've said on this show in the past, that environment, and you'll know exactly what I mean, Blaine, that environment, that one-on-one, that favors the offense, right? That favors the receiver. The Senior Bowl does, cornerbacks no favors, right, by putting them in these one-on-one situations with no pass rush and saying, hey, go ahead and cover a guy out there on the boundary. I thought Rush was terrific in those situations. So I'm a big fan of all three of those guys. I think Bennett and Rush are like third or fourth round picks personally. Banks, as I said, I'm really high on. A 42-inch vert, it's ridiculous. He had 8 pass breakups this past year. I think he's a first-round guy all day long. I don't know for sure that he'll be drafted there, but I feel strongly about my conviction in him as a top 32 player.
Justin Mello at the Draft Network.
All right, Justin, let me ask you, anything change with your quarterback ratings, or how do you see the top of the quarterback draft after what you saw in Indy?
Well, I think I'd be, lying if I said nothing changed because, Anthony Richardson blew the lid off the thing. And look, we all knew he was athletic. I don't think anyone expected him to go there and not test well. Yeah. But I don't think it'd be fair to say you expected him to test like, the most athletic quarterback in football history, right? I mean, if you follow the relative athletic score, it's, terrific work that I believe, Math Bomb does on Twitter. This guy scored a 10 out of 10, right? Like, it's just out of this world, the testing was. Yeah, you do start to wonder how high can he be drafted, right? Like, we at the Draft Network, not my mock draft, but we just released a brand new mock draft, earlier today. We had him going number 1 overall, right, with the Colts trading up. The Colts trading up from 4 to 1 to take him. And some of that was based on some of the rumors, that we heard when we were in Indianapolis, based on, which quarterbacks, which teams like. And we got the impression the Colts are very high on him. For me, I'm still kind of letting the dust settle. I'm not going to change my rankings too much. No, I still have Bryce Young as number 1. I wish he threw out there. I wasn't shocked that he didn't. I thought he was unbelievable at the podium. If you saw him speak, he was terrific. I immediately got the vibes that this guy is a day one leader. I thought C.J. Stroud was incredible throwing the football, which is no surprise at all. He's the most precise quarterback in this class. He's the one that throws with the best sense of anticipation, and I think you saw that on the field. We had some people say it was one of the best showings they've ever seen from a quarterback session at the Combine. Now, we know, no pass rush, throwing against air. You're supposed to go there and look pretty good, but that's how good he looks. I thought it was an all-timer. For me, it's Anthony Richardson closing the gap on Will Levis, right? Because I had Richardson as my quarterback 4. Heading into the weekend, I was very firm on Young being 1, Stroud being 2, and then I had Levis at 3. I had Richardson at 4. I do think, I'm still having that internal debate right now as I continue to analyze what Richardson did, what Levis did. I still am high on Will Levis. I thought he had a good day. He had the strongest arm out of any quarterback there. In fact, I believe he's damn near set a record for miles per hour with the velocity. NFL teams love arm strength. There's probably not a stronger arm in this class than Will Levis. But I thought it was a very interesting weekend from the quarterback's perspective, and Anthony Richardson undeniably made himself some money.
Do you think any of those big 4 drop all the way to 11?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I really don't. I think certainly someone's going to trade up to number 1 to take one of them. I think number 2, is probably going to be a quarterback as well with Houston. I'd be surprised if it's not. You've got the Colts at 4, again, who are candidates to move up. You got the Las Vegas Raiders at 7. I entered this offseason thinking the Raiders would probably go for a veteran. Well, now it seems like it's the worst-kept secret that they want a rookie. And that sort of surprises me, their line of thinking, but that's every indication I've gotten is that the Raiders are all in on this class and do plan on drafting a quarterback. And then you've got the Carolina Panthers at 9, right, who just missed out on Derek Carr earlier today, right, who signed with the Saints. The Panthers were in on Carr. They didn't get him. Well, now they have to pivot, right? So when I look at those 4 or 5 picks, all of them which are in front of the Titans at 11, I don't think there's really any chance at all that any of these quarterbacks make it to 11.
Justin M_NFL. That's his at Twitter Draft Network, talking all kinds of NFL storylines with us here on Blaine and Mickey.
Well, we talked a lot about Justin of whose stock kind of rose or who stood out. Well, whose stock fell?
Uh-oh.
Anybody?
That's tough. I will say, two guys that kind of stick out to me. I thought Kayshon Boutte, the wide receiver out of LSU, this is a guy that I had struggled with all year long. He didn't play a ton of football in 2022, and there were some, maturity, social media related issues that he was in, he was out, he was back in, right? At one point, I believe he shut it down for the year, and then he decided to come back. The 2021 tape was a lot better than 2022. Again, you kind of worried about what was going on behind the scenes. You'd hope he'd go to Indianapolis and have a better showing than he did, but he didn't, right? He came in at 5'11", 195, which is below average for his size. The vertical was a 29-inch vert. That's like historically bad. The broad jump was very bad as well at 9 foot 10 inches. And the 40, it was okay. The 40 was okay. I didn't have as many issues with it at 4.5. But when you look at some of that off-field stuff, the weird 2022 season that he had, and then the vert and the broad, I am, very concerned about what he did out there. And then another guy, and this kills me to say it because I love the player so much on tape, but Christopher Smith out of Georgia, safety that I think is one of the smartest, most instinctual defenders in the draft. I previously had him as a top 50 prospect in this class. Well, he came in at 5'10", 188. The size isn't great. 75-inch wingspan, a 33-inch vertical, a 9-foot broad. It's really bad testing, and the size isn't there either, right? So, look, I'm still high on the player because for me, tape comes first, and he put out terrific tape in 2022. He really, to me, was the leader and the glue that held that Georgia defense together. And we're talking about the best defense in the nation. We're talking about a program that's now back-to-back national champions. I've had a chance to sit down with him and speak to him. He's an incredibly intelligent kid, an excellent leader. But, when I'm looking at drafting a safety in the top 40 or 50, it's already a bit of a devalued position. Only one or two of them, are probably going to go within that top 40. I don't know that I can take one, that's 5'10", 188, and the testing is bad as well, right? These are some historical outliers that he has to overcome, right? So I think if he's still there at 70, 80 overall, you got to think long and hard about it because of how good the tape is. But I don't know that you can take this guy at 40th overall right now.
Under the radar, I thought it was some edge rushers that were, I guess game changers. Kind of take us through some of those guys. What your reaction were on some guys who you think would be immediate impact as edge rushers?
Well, Nolan Smith out of Georgia, right? I think he's the one that had the best day out of any of the edge rushers. I mean, he comes in at 6'2", 238, runs the 40-yard dash in 4.39 seconds. Jeez. It's absolutely ridiculous. A 38-inch vertical and an 11-foot broad. All of those, by the way, are like perfect 10 out of 10s historically when compared to other players at the position. So I don't know if anybody at the combine, maybe outside of Anthony Richardson, had a better day than Nolan Smith. And I previously had him in the early portion of the second round. Well, I'd be totally shocked, right, if he even gets to the second round now. I thought Lucas Van Ness had a pretty good day. Edge rusher out of Iowa, 6'5", 272, 34-inch arms, 11-inch hands, runs the 40 in 4.58 seconds. That's a ridiculous time for his size. How about the three-cone? I'm a big fan of the three-cone, and I don't think we put enough attention right on the three-cone. I think, Blaine, you'd agree with me, right? I find it to be more it sort of translates more, right, to on-field success than I think the 40-yard dash does. But what about Lucas Van Ness? He ran a 7.02 three-cone. That is ridiculous at 6'5", 272. The broad was fairly decent, too, over 9 feet, so it was good enough by historical standards. I thought he had a good day. I think he's probably a first-round pick as well. There were a lot of guys, though. I'll just run through some more quickly. B.J. Ojulari out of LSU, I thought had a pretty good day. Byron Young out of Tennessee, right, a guy that your audience, I imagine, knows very well. He ran a 4.43 at 248 pounds. He had a 38-inch vertical, an 11-foot, 10-inch broad. That's an absolute ridiculous day for Byron Young out of Tennessee. And how about Tommy Adebawore out of Northwestern? That was just absolutely ridiculous. That was one of the craziest performances I think I've ever seen, in all honesty. He came in at about 6'1 and a half, 282 pounds. He ran a 4.49. That's a refrigerator on wheels, right? Like 6'1", 282, 4.49. That's ridiculous. A 37.5-inch vert. He put up 27 reps on the bench press despite having 34-inch arms. 10-foot broad jump. I mean, this is unbelievable for Tommy Adebawore. I had him in my top 100. I thought he was a sneaky top 100 guy at the Senior Bowl. Well, now you're wondering if he even makes it to 60 or 70 overall.
Real quick, I guess, the big sexies in the trenches, offensive tackles. Give me your top 3 or 4 guys who you think for sure will be there when the Titans at 11.
Well, I still really like Paris Johnson. He didn't do a whole lot there at the Combine, but he does have those, 36-inch arms, I think. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. I thought Broderick Jones at Georgia had a pretty good day. I think people have been kind of underrating him throughout this process. I think the gap is probably closer to Paris Johnson than most think. I mean, he ran the 40 in under 5 seconds. Right, that's unbelievable for a guy that's 311 pounds, has arms almost as long as Paris Johnson, about 35 inches. And then Peter Skoronski, lastly, I thought he had a great day as well, but he confirmed my concerns that I don't think he can play tackle at the next level. I've been saying this for a while. I caught a lot of flack on it for it on Twitter. It's got 32.25-inch arms. That's 4th percentile historically based on offensive tackles. So I don't know that Peter Skoronski can play tackle. I've been saying he's a guard, really just reaffirmed my opinion that he is a guard at the next level, but I do think he's still a very good player and a worthy first-round selection.
Oh, man. What do you think about Darnell Wright real quick?
I like Darnell Wright. There's been a lot of chatter about him going in the first round. I think we at the Draft Network, my colleague Ryan Fowler, just minutes ago before I came on the show, confirmed that he did have a formal interview with the Titans at the Combine. So they obviously have some interest in him. I really like him. I think he's a right tackle. I don't think I'd play him on the left, but I thought he had a really good day at the Combine. I think he can play right tackle. There's a lot of buzz right now on him being a surprise first-round selection.
Cool. Thank you.
Justin Mello, always a first-round selection for us. Thanks, buddy, at JustinM_NFL for all the latest or the Draft Network. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys always.
Yes, sir. All right, we'll come back, wrap it up next. SEC basketball honors out and some local flavor, including something that hasn't been done in a decade, and a local-based guy did it. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Lots of Titans discussion in Zone TV chat. We spent the first hour on it. We will certainly get back to that tomorrow. But the SEC basketball tournament coming to town later this week. You can catch the Tennessee Volunteers right here on The Zone. They play Thursday at 2, so we'll be on from 1 to 2. We're the pregame show. How about that?
Oh, don't they have their own pregame show?
I guess not now, because we're going to pregame this rascal.
Oh, okay. Well,
I see Lucas looking at me like I said something wrong. Did I say something wrong?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right, then that's the case.
Okay, we'll be on our pregame show.
Santiago Vescovi, first team All-SEC, along with Liam Robbins of Vanderbilt.
Robbins, okay, cool.
Here's the thing, and there's some other guys as well. I don't know if we got
Stackhouse as a co-coach, right?
Stackhouse, co-coach of the year with Buzz Williams of Texas A&M.
Okay.
Brandon Miller was player of the year and freshman of the year. The last dude to do that.
Who that?
You guys.
The unibrow.
No, it was the unibrow. Oh, my.
It was the unibrow. In 2012, Anthony Davis did it.
Oh, my. Yep. If I come in here tomorrow and I grow 7 inches, you know. Isn't that like what happened to him in high school his senior year or something? He grew like 7, 8 inches. That's why he had guard skills and he grew to that. Is that right, Lucas?
I would have to check on that, but
I think that's what happened. He was.
You talking Brandon Miller or unibrow?
Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Unibrow. Unibrow was a guard, like a 6'3" guard, and he grew, I don't know if it was his junior year or his senior year, he grew like 7, 8 inches. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just remembering incorrectly, but I thought that was the deal with him, and that's why, he could shoot, considered for a big man. It wasn't a big, huge adjustment for him. And then, he was kind of more of a finesse player, even though he was athletic and long. But maybe Kentucky had so many good players. Maybe it was somebody else on their team. Meanwhile, I'm trying to buy time. So
okay.
Y'all can't find it?
I was looking up something that I remember from my own personal experience because he's from my same state. Scottie Pippen did that.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember Scottie Pippen.
His growth spurt. I lived in Arkansas and I'd never heard of him until he went to the draft camp and I saw something because he went to
Central
UCA,
Arkansas,
Central Arkansas, which is it's as big a school people wise as Arkansas State. But
so Robert's looking it up for you, Lucas?
Is he looking it up? Pippen was 7 inches from his junior year in high school till he graduated college. He grew 7.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, because that was a big deal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he turned.
Did we get any info on? I want to see if I was right. I might have got that right. Might have been another player.
Zakai Ziegler, second team, all SEC, all defense, all SEC. Julian Phillips made the all-freshman team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, AD grew 8 inches his senior year.
His senior year in high school.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Imagine that.
Like being his parents, A, trying to feed him, B, trying to keep pants on him. I bet that dude had the shortest pants in school. Because, when you're a kid, you just outgrow your pants. Your parents are like, they're fine.
Oh, man.
You just gonna keep wearing it. I would have been like, give me just all sweat
That's
pants.
like me coming in here tomorrow, and I'm an inch taller than Ron Slay. That's crazy.
Are most people as tall as they're going to be by the time they're a senior in high school?
I would say not.
No?
If I was guessing. Boys mature late, and maturity as well as they, some guys grow. I've seen guys grow when they're in college.
I grew in college and only got to this size. Think about that.
Oh, my.
If you woke up tomorrow 8 inches taller, Mickey, and just walked in here, you would be what,
6'5"?
Somewhere along in there, yeah. Right. Well, how tall is Ron? Is he 6?
I think he's 6'8".
Goodness gracious.
I can't. Yeah, that's crazy. Watch this. My big spurt was when I was a freshman to sophomore year.
Yeah, I did not have that.
I went from 5'2" to 5'9". Woo! And they came back and
you
were tall.
On.
I mean, taller, not tall.
You had short pants on then.
I was like, dang, man, I was sharp my freshman year, man.
On the way out, Silas says, who got Ding Dong of the Week? Go to markspain.com, get a guaranteed offer on your home today, and start packing. I did need to add that to the segment. And our guy,
Brian won the tickets.
One Ding Dong of the Week. He gave himself a Ding Dong of the Week for doubting Jerry Stackhouse.
Oh.
And Stack and Vandy double buy.
What? No.
They're
single
buy.
Six.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Their first buy in How long?
Because they're
I know our
C
music's about
behind
to run out.
UT. So, but yeah, they just got one bye, so they just like UT.
Yes, one bye. First time for Tennessee to only get one bye since 2017. And maybe for Vandy to get a bye since somewhere along in there. All right, we got to go. 3HL's coming up next.
But in the meantime,
in between time,
I'm 8 inches taller.
Peace. Unibrow.